City Hall was designed about 80 years ago and finished after the Second World War.
It was a really traditional municipal building.
People say it was dark, lots of pastels around the place, so I don't think aesthetically it was a great feel.
So people were locked away in their little rabbit warrens.
Inevitably, the way the council worked has changed massively in that time.
There was no sort of open communication.
Not well designed for a modern building serving a modern workforce.
It was a building which wasn't inviting in terms of the public.
But what we really need is a building like this to be open and to be welcoming.
Not something which is slightly daunting in order to go in.
This building should, in many ways, be, at the heart of Bristol life.
If you think about where City Hall is, at the bottom of Park Street, it sits in that area between the academic aspects of Bristol and the financial area of Bristol. Bristol as a city falls into a track where it has these sort of disparate little bits and pockets, and the thread that connects those is Park Street. And I think the refurbishment of City Hall creates a bridge between those different parts.
It is an icon for the city. The idea is to bring the whole thing up to date.
We could enhance it and get people to love it again. It had become a bit of a dinosaur.
The building itself is grade 2 star, extremely rare and a very, very high quality building. When we first visited it in 3 or 4 years ago, the building was enormously intact.
And so there was a great deal of anxiety that what we were proposing to do to the building was actually destroying some of that. It's that combination and blend of heritage and new.
The front entrance used to be primarily for VIPs and top brass. So there was a feeling that the moat and the ramped entrance had this way of distinguishing your access from the rest of the people in the space in front.
Part of the challenge of this building is that it's not a building that's particularly welcoming. I lived here 22 years before I even set foot in this building.
So there is a definite aim to make the whole building much more open.
Our ambitions were to increase the efficiency of the building, both in terms of energy utilisation, but significantly space utilisation.
Harris himself was a pioneer of office design. You have a long corridor for your central circulation, and then leading off that corridor, you have 4 or 5 doorways, as it were, leading into a single large unit office. And indeed, this was developed further in some of his later projects by actually virtually pioneering open plan design.
We've tried to reflect what Vincent Harris originally thought. We've added in new features, new modern features to support collaborative working. You don't collaborate at desks. Actually, you look at a monitor or a screen. All the evidence from all of our measures tells us that desks are actually grossly underutilised. We've created all these wonderful spaces with the intention of saying to people, you've got mobile laptops, you've got mobile phones, you don't have to sit at a desk anymore like you used to have to do. We moved just over 575 people out. Now, with the kind of a working environment we've created, actually the building can accommodate 2,000 people. It's not about moving walls, it's actually about people moving.
The Cash Hall is the only part of City Hall which was originally designed to be accessible to the general public. As part of this restoration, we've worked to return this beautiful space back into the hands of Bristolians.
So across the City Hall, we're discouraging people from sitting at their desks. From a health perspective, that's not good. We're encouraging them to come down here. We'll be providing good quality food, local food. This looks amazing, I'm really chuffed with that. People used to work above and below. It was very dark and dingy. It's been completely gutted. Much lighter, much brighter, a really important, efficient use of space that's elegant, effective, and, you know, says that this council is embracing modern working. The purpose of the Cash Hall is to be that place of destination where people from the rest of the building come down into the Cash Hall for informal meetings and have a coffee and have their lunch, etc., etc. But it's also a standalone facility. So outside corporate office hours, that facility can be used by the council or by the community of Bristol. I think for the modern business community of Bristol, the Cash Hall is a significant resource.
I think it's a triumph. Those people who were outside the team, if you like, are experiencing the wow factor. Harris would be delighted with how this project has turned out. Being able to encourage the public back in and giving much better access to the building is terrific.
What I hope we've done is enable people to fall back in love with it. You know, we've worked very closely with Peter Carey to ensure that whatever we have done, we haven't destroyed that history.
I think this has been an absolutely astonishingly good example of a creative approach to a conservation project.
It is a modern language, but it reinforces the original purpose of some of those spaces.
It's not about preservation. It's not about putting it into a museum and putting it in an aspect. So people can still feel in somehow linked to the history of the building, and in this way also linked specifically to the Bristolianness of the building.
It has all of the components to be more accessible and more usable by the City of Bristol. Now we've got to hand that baton on back to the council and to other interested parties to make full use of that.
I'm just blown away by the result. I think it's just a great space.
We've found a fantastic result that we've effectively continued this building's function being the democratic and administrative headquarters of the council, but we've been able to bring it up to date while still keeping its much loved character.
It's about different ways of working, of using space in a creative and collaborative way, which really reflects the sort of behaviours that we need, reflects a more modern organisation and the fact that actually we need to effectively work across boundaries, work as a single organisation, and the space now allows us to do that.
We're also seeing that the councillors and cabinet members are increasing their accessibility by choosing to meet people in that much more open setting than being somewhere lost in a meeting room. So a really important aspect is that the building being modernised and open is much more efficient. And if you just take the measure of how many people actually can work here now, we've moved to nearly 3 times as many staff being able to have this as their working base.
It's not just set aside for the use of the City Council, it is absolutely for the use of the community and for community groups as well.
We've managed to open up the building more to the public, so use of the first floor level, which is the main civic spaces, is managed much more effectively, which means the rooms can be occupied for greater parts of the day.
We're going to open up the vestibules at the bottom of the ramps for artists. They're going to have the chance to apply, and they can display their work for free. And beyond that, we have this prize downstairs, or the ground floor of the cash hall. We've been inviting people and making it possible for people to come and work there. You know, we've got Wi-Fi, there's a, you know, like I said, there's a cafeteria, there's an open place. We'll have people coming from the voluntary sector, from business, from local government, from health, can all stop there and work. Increasingly, we're having to look at how we reinvent the role of local government, what it is. It needs to be an enabling organisation, a facilitating organisation. Bristol doesn't flourish simply because the council flourishes. Bristol flourishes because the whole collection of city institutions flourish. Right up from our universities to business to voluntary sector to the very, very small community-based organisations. And City Council is only a part of that. The way this building changes to be a place where people come together, they know it's their building, they can make use of it, it enables them to get things done, it enables them with a meeting space, it enables them to meet other people. If we can make this a genuine hub for city leadership, a space where people meet and they can come together and make things happen, then I think that'd be a real service to Bristol.